Angle.
That looks good. Oh boy. The gray hair is showing today. Holy cow.
Because you're wearing a gray sweater.
Maybe that's accentuating the gray. Hey, James.
We were pretty much on time tonight.
Yeah, we were. We're trying. Chris still has his dinner in front of him.
That's all right.
By the time we get chores done and get in, we're like, oh, and we had to hook up the trailer tonight because we have to take our last ram to the butcher tomorrow morning. So we hooked it all up tonight so that we were ready. And yeah, time just gets away, especially with it being lighter, longer now. It doesn't get dark here until about 10 after 8, so you think you've got more time than you have.
Well, you do have more time to do stuff outside.
Well, yes, but not as much time if you're trying to get back in.
No, that's true. Very, very true.
Yeah, but how are you guys tonight?
Yeah. Hopefully the weather where you guys are is decent. Here it's been really spring-like. Like it kind of just went. Yeah. Snap your fingers, and it was, I don't know, how warm was it today?
We were 18 today.
That's pretty good for April. And it's not supposed to be below zero, is it? Anytime soon?
No, we're not supposed to have any more. We're hovering close to zero at night, but not much. We got bold and took some, hi Bomber Steve, we took some stuff out to the greenhouse.
Yes, we finally have plants in the greenhouse.
Fingers crossed it does not get cold again, but
the greenhouse is pretty warm. We still have to finish the
we got a little more to do on it.
The top little triangle has to be finished, but what do we have out there? We've got a few. We took onions and red Russian kale and radishes out of the grow room. Had to think about that for a second. And then we took our dragon carrots that we planted. Well, what was that? That was January, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we planted
took them back out to get seed.
To go to seed. So they're greening up really nicely after being in the basement for quite a few months.
Winter. But yeah, rain at this point would probably be better than snow, I would guess.
We actually
Remy, you still had quite a bit of snow compared to us in some of your more recent videos. So yeah. But then I know you're what, zone 3B maybe? Not 100% sure, but
ours just went so quick. It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It was just,
and now it's dry.
Well, we were at the back there. We had the chickens all out, and they were doing their digging and doing their dust bath thing, and they were out in the dirt, out in the farmyard, and it was just flying dust. So I'm like, that might be a bad sign for this year. And there's no real rain in the forecast for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, it's
what's the old saying? April showers brings May flowers, but it also brings pasture.
Yeah, we need water for pasture, so hopefully it does rain. We've got a couple days that are like 30-40% chance, but I don't trust the weathermen to tell us. So
it kind of looked like it was going to rain today, but then it didn't.
Yeah, and our pond is still it's not as low as it was, but it's still really low.
It's the highest it's been since last fall.
Yeah, that's true.
Still,
yeah, it hasn't hit there's rocks all the way around it, and normally the water's over top of the rocks, and it hasn't gone over the rocks yet. It's still got another foot and a half or so to go. So that means we need a lot of rain to fill that sucker back up.
Oh, it'll happen.
Well, if not, we'll be coming up with plan B. We're glad we have a deep well, right? But
it's kind of crazy to be coming out of winter and already thinking that. But
and James says he is cold there. More time in the barn, though, definitely. It is.
Yeah, we find the same thing.
Yeah, we get going on little projects and start cleaning up stuff. Today, I started doing a little bit of cleanup in the garden, cleaned up the asparagus patch, that sort of thing, and it was.
We added some more soil.
Oh yeah, soil
compost to some of our raised beds, so that was good on the weekend.
Yep.
It's kind of
it was nice to kind of get into the garden and get doing a few things, which was. You're trying not to jump ahead because there is a pretty good chance that we're going to get cold again, or at least get snow again.
Most likely.
But trying to come up with some cold frame ideas so that we can start planting a few things since the dirt is tillable.
This will be our best spring. If it keeps going at the rate we've been working on things, this will be our best spring yet for actually getting some
Stuff
earlier
started on
garden
time.
stuff going. Usually we're trying to play catch up until we get to June, and then it's so we'll see.
But
see how we do.
Yeah. So we did our onesie challenge, Remy, after the delightful tag by you.
The kids had fun with it. They enjoyed it.
The kids had a good time with it, actually.
And they actually have onesies, so we figured, hey.
Yeah. So
they'll enjoy it.
Hopefully people that we pass it on to will do it. That'd be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, it wasn't that bad to do chores in PJs, other than the fact that our clothes got covered in hay.
Yeah, that was my downfall because I was the one that had to go do the hay.
Yeah, covered in hay, and it didn't work nicely for that side of things. So then got in, and it's like, oh man, my favorite pants.
I had to wash them.
Yeah, and in the laundry they go. But yeah, the kids the kids wanted to do it all themselves, but we would have been like 2 hours doing chores in their onesies.
They couldn't do some of it,
they couldn't have done most. Well, they couldn't have done a lot of it, but they did their part. And they had
fun with it.
Yeah.
That's all that really matters. It's just a fun little challenge. It's kind of interesting with some of the quote unquote challenges because they're not really challenges per se. They're just kind of like fun little ideas to try. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of neat ones going around. I mean, we have to redo our single seed challenge.
Yes, we've got to replant.
A little bit of a dilemma going on with that, so we have to replant that. Not a fail, just didn't do so well at it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I think of some of the other challenge things that are out and about. Of course, there's all the Shed Wars stuff right now. Which
it's still progressing. What did we do? We wrote it down, wasn't it? Was it
about 4.5 pounds this week?
Yeah, so a lot less than last week, but that's okay.
Harvested.
It was mostly kale, I think, and eggs.
Kale and eggs, and we did the lilies. We did daylilies.
I guess we haven't done that video yet. So.
No, that's tomorrow's video.
Yeah, kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, but all in all, not too terrible.
I don't know what's I was gonna say what has everybody else kind of been up to as we I don't know, we're officially spring, but it's really starting to feel like it, I guess.
Yeah, well, and it was Easter weekend.
Yeah, that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Had a long weekend. Tried to get a bunch of stuff done. Did pretty good, but it's that same thing. You never get as much done as you really want to get done.
Yeah. The
jobs always take double what you think they're gonna take.
Yeah, it's like you plan to do 4 things, and then the first thing just throws it all off because it takes so much longer.
Hello, Hitch Chick.
Hi, Hitch Chick.
We do actually do some foraging, and that was one of the things. So we haven't put the video out yet. We're going to put it out for tomorrow, actually. But we harvested daylilies, just the shoots.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I can't remember the scientific name of them, but they're the ones people call them ditch
tiger lilies or the orange lilies.
Yeah, but they're the non-native ones that kind of form like a carpet of leaves, basically. But anyways, you can eat them in sort of moderation. Yeah,
we did them. We just fried them up, garlic and butter. They were really tasty. We had them with Easter dinner.
Yeah, not something you would go and harvest like a lot of, but
no.
Still, when you have them, or you have access to them.
And that's it. We've got tons of them around the property, just wild. So that's kind of nice. And you see them on the side of the road all the time. I mean, as long as you're going to wash them, it doesn't really matter where you picked them from.
May not do it for a busy highway, but
okay, maybe not.
Back road,
maybe, but on a back road, dirt road, whatever, you'd probably find quite a few of them.
That's pretty awesome. Still working on garden expansions. We've got plans for some.
Hey, Indiana Backyard Gardener.
Hello. Thank you for coming in.
The garden expansion, yes, and it always seems to be our dilemma is you expand and then it's like, I need more.
Yeah, that's all right.
Then we have another expansion, another one.
Keep thinking of ways to do it. Definitely try the dandelion jelly. It's a little bit time consuming.
Yeah, I'm going to do a video on that this spring for sure because it's
good. It's really good.
It's really, really good. And it's a good thing for the kids because they don't mind harvesting the dandelions. So.
Well, especially now that they know what it tastes like.
Yeah.
They'll understand.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, we're making something really, really good.
The spruce tip jelly, again, though, that's one
we didn't try it this
No,
last
I
year.
didn't. But we have, what are those? What
Norway
spruce. We have Norway spruce lining our whole one side of the property up front here. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you could pick pounds and pounds of spruce tip. I was going to make spruce tip tea, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Wasn't that what we were looking at? We just
kind of ran out of time
and we ran out of time, and they got too open. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, maybe not. So,
well, that's the only thing about the spruce tip stuff is you kind of have that narrow window to get them, right? Whereas the dandelions, you've got a much bigger window. Yeah. More labor intensive, but they're also free.
Well, the dandelions, you've got to have a window where you have enough dandelions, though, because it's a lot. Well, of dandelions. You need a lot, yeah.
But that's the funny thing, though. We joke about it. Well, a lot of people are trying to get rid of dandelions, and because
we're trying to grow more.
We're trying to grow them because, well, spread the seeds around the yard, because when you put the sheep and the horses and that sort of stuff out there, that's the first thing they eat, and they eradicate them.
Exactly.
So they don't come back. It's kind of funny when people are like trying to get rid of them as a weed in the garden. It's like, well, just get something that grazes. And you won't have any.
You won't have any. Are you saying that the spruce tip jelly tastes the lemony? We found the dandelion jelly was very much like honey.
Very, very
much like honey. Yeah. It tasted like you were having a peanut butter and honey sandwich.
Hence why we don't have any more. Or we have one left. No, we ate them all.
The dandelion jelly? I think I might have saved one back.
I have one.
Yeah, there might be one still. Hello, Willow Cove Croft. The rabbits, the rabbits love the dandelions as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything that eats green leafy vegetables usually will decimate dandelions.
Well, and we're about to start harvesting our wild parsnips.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing.
That's one of the things we have a lot of wild parsnip here, which a lot of people are really, really trying to eradicate off their property because it is very
the reaction stuff.
Yeah, it's bad. It can burn you, that sort of thing.
But it's not so bad with the root, because it's the same thing as.
But we harvest parsnip. It, and the parsnip is just amazing because it's just come out of the frost state, and it's so sweet, the root, because it hasn't put a lot of effort into the plant yet. I think
you're basically getting the last year's.
Yeah.
So you're getting in the second year at the beginning of it before they get woody. But you do need quite a few Willow Cove. How many? You remember math on it? You need a lot. Relatively.
You needed 4 to make a batch of dandelion jelly. You needed 4 cups of. It was. You only want the yellow part of the flowers. You have to actually pick the yellow part, the petals, off of the flower. You don't want the green because it can make it bitter. And
but you can do it's the flower pieces and the orange or the yellow petals, right?
Yeah, like you take off the green part on the bottom, like we just kind of grab all of it and pull and then drop it in the container.
Yeah, because dandelion. Well, for those of you that don't know, dandelions, what do they call it? Composite flower. So you actually have the little what looks like the petals around the outside. But those are specialized leaves, and then on the inside, when you're a kid and you take the dandelion and you rub it on your hand and you get all the pollen and stuff on you. Each one of those little pieces is like a separate flower. So you're taking all of those little flowers out and the yellow leaves around the outside to make it, like you said, you just don't want the green part.
Yeah. Yeah. So it takes a lot. I think it was a 5-gallon pail. It was almost a 5-gallon pail. Just like if you were picking them quickly out of the yard and throwing them in a pail. It was about a 5-gallon pail that made enough to do. It might have been a double batch. I'll have to double check, but it was 4 cups of it was my 1 liter measuring jar that we filled with the yellow.
But it was good. It was good.
It was worth it, and we said we're going to do it again. Yep. So, but it's something that we don't want to decimate all our dandelions, so I won't pick them all. But
no, I'm sure there'll be more.
Yeah. I guess, like Remy said, it tastes a bit lemony. It does a little bit. Maybe it was made with it could have been made with the green part too, the one that he tried, because that would make it a little bit. But
it's got a bit of a lemony
flavor, but we found ours very much like honey. It was just like pure honey. But yeah, it's a lot of dandelions, but definitely worth it.
But yes, it is definitely worth it.
And I will be honest, maybe because I packed them in, because I wanted it to be really flavorful.
Well, maybe that's why it was so sweet.
Might be, yeah. Because I kind of like I didn't just loose like I kind not like how you do your brown sugar in baking, but I did pack them in pretty good into the container.
I mean, you think about it, it's one of those things you can easily spread them around your yard. They do it anyways.
Yeah.
You're not spending any time or effort to grow them. And it's kind of at a time of year when there's not a lot to compete with, right? Like, yes, you're starting your gardens, but like we always say, we find when sometimes some of the foraging stuff, depending on what it is and what kind of shelf life it has, when you get into like your big garden harvests, it gets hard to do it, right? If it's something that has to be done quick, like apples are great because you can harvest them and they sit there, and they're fine for a few days. But yeah, So it's kind of a springtime thing that's kind of nice. Oh, you'll have to import some.
Yeah, import some dandelions.
Who needs a lawn? Just get it into dandelion production.
Well, we don't have a lot of grass in our lawn. It's dandelions and whatever that creeping stuff
parts
is.
Parts of our lawn, which we still use for grazing and stuff.
We don't actually cut the lawn. We just let the animals graze it. So
we usually only cut our lawn, once a year? Twice a year, maybe?
Oh, we have purple. Isn't that the stinging nettle? Purple dead nettle? Is that the same thing?
It's not. No, stinging nettle's a different thing.
Okay.
But the purple dead nettle, is that not also what's... I get them confused, and I should know the difference, but is it henbit and dead nettle? They are different, I think. We have one of them. We might actually have both.
Is that the one that has all the purple flowers on it? It's like low to the ground.
I think they both. I think they both do. And I should know this as a biologist, but I don't remember.
Get your book out now.
I could.
But we have the other thing we have a lot of here is stinging nettle, which
in parts.
Which we said
okay, it's not the same.
Not the same. No, it's in the mint family. Okay, I'll have to look that up. But yeah, I'd like to do some of the stinging nettle tea, like dry some of it for that. I meant to last year, and it just kind of we were working on clearing out things and didn't get to it. But we should put our right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You kind of go down. We've always kind of said it's one thing to have a little bit of lawn. It's like if you've got a septic, you can. I know you can do other stuff, but it's like that's justifiable because it's a relatively small area. But I've never understood like huge expansive lawns because I just drive by people who have that and go, you could do so much with that, well, or work towards doing so much of that. But
well, we've kind of converted because we have our pasture and then we have our lawn, and we've pretty much converting all of our lawn to be gardens and fruit trees and things because we don't want to lose the pasture space. So
we're not quite there yet.
But it's coming. So
the gardens are creeping.
The lawn's getting smaller and smaller, but it's kind of great because we have that electric sheep netting. So we just put that up around certain areas and let the sheep out to graze the lawn. We do have a little push lawnmower, which gets fired up once or twice a year just to cut down stuff that they don't eat. But
it's kind of even with the pastures. Like we do have the brush hog, which I have to go and do a little bit of that before things get going too far. But you still end up having to cut it occasionally, which I think that's the big thing for me is reducing that, right? Because even with multi-species grazing, you tend to get certain things that they don't like, and sometimes that's the stuff you want to cut back.
Well, you don't want that going to seed.
That can get really complicated and whatnot. But
once you start those things going to seed, then they eat less and less of it. So
and you reduce your pasture capacity.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing we have a big problem with back in the back is sumac trees.
It's not really a problem, though, because
there's a lot, and they just take over.
Yeah, but with the animals, they're easy, right? Because they'll come back, but you can keep them where you want them because the animals eat them when they're little.
Yeah,
they don't eat them when they're big, but and that's actually something. Speaking of foraging, we tried it last year, and we tried it early, but to try to make the sumac tea or the sumac lemonade.
They call it lemonade, but.
And it didn't work for us.
It tasted awful. I'm not sure what we were doing wrong. I don't know if anybody has tried it or made it before. I don't know. I'm not sure. Are sumacs everywhere or are they kind of native here? Or
I think staghorn and smooth sumac are pretty widespread.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones.
It was one of those, we'd watched numerous videos and people were talking about, getting their sumac tea and whatnot.
And we tried it in a progression over time where we kind of, the first batch we definitely were a little early, but then we would try it at like weekly intervals because it
wasn't ripe, that's what we kind of thought.
But we'd seen and read too about like eventually you get to the point that you get a lot of beetles and stuff in it. So we never had that problem, but
it just didn't taste good. So we're not sure, maybe we're doing something wrong on it because so many people said it was so great.
Well, we can definitely try it again.
Well, it's one of those now I'm kind of They used it in beer to make beer back then. Huh. Maybe.
Interesting.
It definitely had more of a beer taste than a lemonade taste. In the sense of it wasn't, a sweet tasting
type thing.
Yeah. Hey, see, Jim.
Nettles, they're like wild stinging nettle. This is going into the biology stuff, but it's not a wetland plant per se, but it likes moisture conditions. So it's kind of a good indicator that the land in between your wetland and your upland, because like here where we are, we've got some pockets that they're not wetland, but they hold enough moisture that it does really well. So you probably could grow it, no problem. Just it's a little more on the moisture loving side. Yeah.
One thing we planted this year, which I'm really hoping, I've gone and checked and they haven't done anything yet, but we planted fiddleheads last year. And that's something that
where we planted them, they should really take off.
Hopefully.
That's the hope anyways.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's the ostrich fern. We actually don't have any ostrich fern that I've found anywhere on the property. So we planted some because in our food forest area, because that's a great thing to have. Another great springtime foraging thing.
Yeah, for foraging in the spring. So
usually after
we're a long ways off from being able to able to harvest it though, because we want it to spread.
If it takes well the first year, like if this year it comes up and it spreads a bit, it'll probably do pretty well. It can grow pretty fast when it likes the conditions.
Well, I hope it does, because that's something that we really wanted to add to the property for a foraging value. We put it in the food forest right along the pond, so should be good. Going back to the onesies, the kids really enjoyed it. I know we kind of already touched, but CJM was
they had fun with it.
They had a lot of fun. The kids are really, really good around the farm. They love doing the chores and being involved. So it's pretty good.
They have things that they really enjoy. Like the rabbits is a big one.
Yeah.
They like the cows, but they can't really
help with the cows a lot. They go in and groom. They can go in and groom them and pet them and stuff. But
the cows are a little bit much when they want to be fed.
Yeah.
Even for an adult.
But so they definitely did a good job on it. So, and we needed somebody to be in onesies.
Yeah, because we
didn't have any. So we threw the kids. Well, it's not really throwing them under the bus, but
they were all too willing.
They were quite willing. They like to be video stars, so that's good.
Yeah, we've got in most willows. There is a couple exceptions, but most of them do like moisture soil.
Well, that's what we were saying actually just today. I was mentioning to Chris about our pond area because we have quite a few. They're weird willow though. They're like a big old willow. They're not like the little.
They're not white. They're not white willow. I think they might be black willow. I'd have to look.
But I said we might have to kind of think about getting some of the ones away from the edge of the pond if we're going to continuously have
the one big one,
water issues.
The one big one is getting to the point that the top part of it's already starting to die back a bit.
Yeah,
so if we cut it, probably next winter, but if we cut it, we should get the coppice growth. You won't get rid of them.
No,
but you don't really need to either.
Yeah, but then you get the little stuff. It's like all the little willows we go and pick for the bunnies and stuff. But the big willow trees, you're not doing that. So, hello, Crucy, does gardening and stuff. Thanks for popping into our live.
And hello, the Wickshire Project.
Yes, lurking is just fine. We lurk.
Yeah, we talk a lot. So once you get us going, we talk a lot.
It was really fun, Thorhaven. You have started quite the thing there. So hopefully some others get on board. We tagged 2 people in it. So it'll be fun. Just a little bit of silliness, right? Then we'll have to think of one for the summer because, onesies are too warm for summer chores.
Bathing suit
Bathing
challenge?
suit challenge. There you go. No.
Yeah, that's got bad written all over it,
Yeah,
though,
it does. That
because
does.
yeah, some of the chores you wouldn't want to do in your bathing suit,
Oh.
or not without. It's like the one we did about the Kuni pigs, because they're the Kuni pigs are super like friendly, but they're still pigs, and they definitely, because Alex went to pet them through the fence, and they're curious, and toes are
yeah, they tried to push through to eat her toes.
yeah. So it's definitely a safety first.
Yeah.
Make sure you got closed toe shoes.
Yeah, our cats are out. Well,
yeah, she's sleeping up there.
the white one. They're both sleeping. Yeah.
They like that tree. We got it for a really good price locally, and with as many indoor cats as we have, it definitely keeps them happy and a little less likely to climb on everything else that you don't want them climbing.
Oh, well, that was our best growing window in the house. And we kept a rack there that had all our plants, and the cats always wanted to be in this window because it gets the nice light all day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we figured it was,
the window to put the cat tree in.
The cats won over the plants.
Well, we just moved the plants to another one and moved around the furniture, so that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody would want to do the Homesteader Speedo Challenge.
No, or the wrestling leotard. Actually, the wrestling leotards could be funny.
Or what's the other thing where you dress up like it's like the Cookie Monster costume. I have an old Halloween costume.
Oh,
it's Cookie Monster, but it's like the full suit.
Yeah, so you're just doing it in a costume, basically.
Costume. There's a Halloween Homestead one.
Yeah.
Costume Homestead costume challenge.
Yeah.
Somebody's another cat
getting involved and not getting a spot. Hey,
hello, Jules. Oh, no worries. We kind of went with the 8:30 because it sort of straddles stuff, and we talk a lot. So
well, and 8 is always risky for us to get back and organized sometimes.
Yeah,
so
now.
8:30 just gave us that buffer. We aim for 8, but yeah.
Yeah,
we're actually on Jules' Small Gardening on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be a guest on his garden chat. So if anybody does not follow him, be sure to follow him and join us there because it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
More Speedos. Well, depending on where you are, it sounds like you've got a good start on things. We actually haven't. We're a little behind on a few things. We've got our peppers and eggplants are well started. We actually have to. We repotted the eggplants the other day. We have to do the peppers like ASAP. We've started into some of our broccoli and sort of the cooler weather stuff, with the plan of getting that kind of into the greenhouse as quick as possible and then out. And we haven't started tomatoes yet, but we've probably got a week.
They should be this weekend. We should probably once the rest of our lights arrive, because we splurged and bought more lights for the grow room.
Yeah, last week I think we were talking about the
ridiculousness of the expense of them.
Well, it was the expense, but it was also they weren't available. And then we just happened to look early this week, and guess what? They're back available again. So
little gimmick by Amazon there with they're available if you want to spend $400, and we didn't want to spend $400, and then the next week they were back at the regular price. So good thing we didn't buy them, but now we have them on order and they'll be here next week. So I think it'll be full-fledged starting some more plants.
The grow room's going to be really bright.
Yes,
it's a good
really
thing it's
bright.
In the basement.
I think we'll work on our suntan in there.
I was going to say, because Jules is a moderator, if you wanted to post, there's not too many people in here, but if you wanted to post a link to your channel or whatever for
anybody that doesn't follow you, just so they can tune in on Friday.
Well, and
8 o'clock Friday.
If they haven't followed some of your other ones, go back and check out some of the other series, because there's some really good information in there.
Yes,
there's so much good information from so many people, but
we may try those super pumpkins.
Oh, fried all the celery. That's not good. Our celery hasn't actually come up yet. So we'll see if we have to do another round, or I know it's sometimes slow. Super pumpkins, are those like the
big, really big ones? The type the kids can build a fort in, Yeah.
We've never grown those, but then I don't know what we would do with them.
Yeah.
That's too much pumpkin.
That would just be for fun, I guess. You could, I guess, livestock feed. They're not human eating pumpkin, are they?
I'm sure you could. that's a lot of pumpkin to deal with in one go.
Mm-hmm.
But the cows, we actually got them. When was that?
The cows came in November.
Was it the beginning of November?
It was. We wanted to have the cows for our 200th video, or was it our 100th video?
Something like that.
Oh, I don't know. Where's my phone?
I don't know. Oh, here it is.
I'll look it up.
Right there.
I'm pretty sure we got them in the beginning of November, though.
Yeah, this is we're the same way. We just put the onions out. We had a set of onions that we started out there and put them in the box and just they warmed up on their own. And we moved out some that we had in the grow room, and so far they're doing really well, along with a couple other things.
Go to the old trusty Facebook to find out when something happened.
Oh wow, they're already a foot tall. That's impressive.
Wow.
That's very impressive.
Hello,
Tiffany.
We've not had luck with celery, period, and we've started it again and no luck.
Well, we've never given celery a lot of attention or chance. So we've got some started right now. We'll see what happens. We'll probably plant another round and sort of go from there. But just see what happens. Yeah, I was wondering about whether they'd be stringy. Because I know some squash are more stringy than others. But well, definitely you use what you've got because it took us how many years to get to the point of having a greenhouse?
Oh, we've been 10 years of moving plants around houses and into whatever window we could possibly get them into in order to
be able to keep going every year. So this is like a bit of a, what do you call it, like dream come true right now that we've actually built it and it's actually standing and it's almost 100% usable. Well, it is usable, but
we post October 29th is when we got the cows.
So right at the end of October.
Yeah.
Just the two of them. I think we do a video on them bringing them home because neither of us have ever had cattle. We've been around cattle, but oh, nice. Grow it indoors all year round. That's actually not a bad idea.
Well, that's what we're going to end up probably trying because it's not, we're not having much luck for getting them out in the garden, that's for sure. So
we should make
thank you, Indiana Backyard Gardener, for posting that. That's awesome.
There's
Jules's link for our,
well, he does a gardening podcast.
It's a podcast thing that he does on Fridays.
Definitely go check it out. Like I said, there's quite a few. He's already done quite a few.
There's the aquaponics stuff, and we did catch up on the one from last week too with MB. He had MB on as a guest.
North Shore. Thank you for stopping in.
Yeah,
that's
when the
true.
string was exactly. Yeah. I guess that there is a benefit to growing the 500-pound pumpkin.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd cut it up. One heck of a machete.
It's using the giant pumpkins is the equivalent of butchering like a pig or a cow.
Hey, me and you acres. Well, yeah, it'd be like
it's an all-day
cow
affair.
butchering. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Who's that one there with the sunroom? Oh, Indiana.
Yeah, a sunroom would definitely be nice to have. We've got some plans for some smaller porches. So we're gonna.
But none of ours really face the right direction.
The one would be okay. The one would be okay.
Yeah.
More plans in the works.
You'll find that also I don't know if you already said to Remy about but that'll be handy. 6x8. That's the size of our grow room, and it's amazing how much stuff you can grow in there.
Oh yeah, if you do shelves in there, and you can even probably, you could probably do some raised beds on the ground or whatever. Yeah. You can get a lot of stuff growing in there.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Keeping up with the chat today.
You're working on it, are you? The pumpkin ninja, the machete. It would be like that, though.
That would be for anybody who is growing the giant ones. There's a YouTube video title. It's like Pumpkin Butchering Day.
There you go. Yeah. Well,
totally
and you'd have to chop it up on the spot.
Pretty much, use it up, carry it off, there, and make it into.
Make a big, if you turn it into a gourd and like you said, the kids can climb in and it'd be like a fort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be the nice part about doing the celery year round, like Drops was saying, because then you could actually.
Well, what's the celery you talked about? You like? She's saying about using just the leaves. That's like what you like.
Soup celery, which is basically it's celery, same species, but it stays small. It basically kind of grows like a herb. All you don't get the stalk. Well, you get stalk, but it's more like parsley. I haven't had a lot of luck with it, but
We've been trying to get them
It's
growing,
a little bit harder to get. We did go with a stalk celery this year, though, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it'd be bigger. Butchering a giant pumpkin would be more than butchering a cow.
That is huge. Wow.
Pumpkin carrots puree. Yeah, pumpkin. That would be good.
Yes.
We've got some plans for some of the squash we grow. Hopefully we can. Hopefully we get enough. Last year we didn't get very much squash in the ground.
We were as typical us late,
which we're not going to be this year.
No, this year we're early. We're going to be early to the game.
That's similar to what we're planning to do, because we've got a deck off the back of the house which faces north, which isn't ideal. But we've also got two other entrances that it would be nice to have a porch on them for the winter months. So eventually we'd like to do that. It might be in the cards this year. We'll see. Yeah. And then we'll just get more growing space.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. And it would also get some of the heat from the house, I think, which would help too.
Well, you could open the door if nothing else.
Yeah.
Right? If you do it right. Mm-hmm. Tiny home out of what's the nursery rhyme where there's Peter Pumpkin Eater? Is that the one where he lived?
Had a wife and couldn't keep her, or whatever.
Kept her in a pumpkin shell, and I can't remember.
And there he kept her very well.
Yeah, there you go. We remembered it.
Team effort. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Where do you store all that pumpkin? Yeah. Well, I think you can pumpkin if you cube it.
Well, in a pressure can.
Yeah,
or
pressure
make it into the soups or freeze it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if a 2,000-pound pumpkin.
Yeah, you'd have to have animals to eat that. You'd have to have animals
for it.
Our rabbits eat pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's not their favorite, but they do eat it.
Yeah.
If you don't give them anything else.
Don't give them a choice. This is all you get.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, cat. I think she's going to jump towards the thing, I think. Oh, no.
Creepy nursery.
For the real estate market to drop.
Cat butt.
Is the real estate market going to drop anytime soon? That's
a whole nother.
Get your cat butt out of the thing here. You go with Sylvie.
Hello, Sean.
We had hey, Sean, Alaska. We had did we talk about this last week about the property that was beside our old property?
I don't know if we did or not.
Yeah, we had like a eye opener. A friend of ours from where we used to live. There was this property. It had 99 acres and a house, and it was, when we were looking around, it was $189,000, and we were like, oh, but it needed a lot of work and stuff. Anyways, so that property just sold for over $700,000. I mean, property is going crazy here, in my opinion. Anyways, I don't know if anybody else has found that, but if you start looking around for anything, especially anything with land, it's
going to be high priced.
Yeah. So I wonder how long until that changes, but I'm not sure if it's, I imagine it's probably the same in the States too. I don't know, but definitely in Ontario, it is that way. The prices have, I'm not going to say doubled, but
they've gone up a lot because of,
the demand, I guess, for rural living. A lot of animals, like dogs too, really.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we're going to try, not pumpkin, but we're going to try, because we make our own cat food. We're going to try the sweet potatoes, because somebody told us sweet potatoes are really good in cat food. So we're going to try that this year with our sweet potatoes, which would be kind of interesting. But pumpkin would probably be similar because it has a similar texture.
Yeah, probably actually. It's interesting too. I think I'm guessing a little bit, but there was a point in history where they used to feed pumpkin to a lot of the larger livestock, like cows and that. They don't do it as much anymore because the protein contents and stuff, just with modern rations, it's not supposed to be fantastic feed. But at the same time, if you have it and you're growing it, it's great. So I would imagine some of those. And hello, Amy. Sorry,
hi, Amy. Sorry,
we didn't miss you. We just didn't say it yet. But a lot of those big pumpkins probably come from that, where a 2,000-pound pumpkin is going to feed a couple of cows for a few days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you consider it's a 500-pound bale, 800-pound bale of hay, and they have it for a week. So, so sorry, what was the trick for the pumpkins?
Oh, it's to get the pedigreed seeds, basically. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like there's all the competitions of who can grow the biggest pumpkin. And some of it's management, some of it's genetics. Yeah.
Okay, you guys have 2 properties. Okay. Well, now would be a good time to sell.
Yeah, this is true.
Because it is just wild. I mean, not that we're planning to move. It was just when our friend told us that, we kind of went, oh, well, let's just have a peek and look, and anything, I mean, we bought our place right at the right time because we couldn't have afforded it now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, the wood prices, we spent a lot of the weekend
taking apart things because we don't want to spend money on new wood.
Well, taking apart some partial stuff and repurposing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we should do that anyways. We usually do, but we may not have repurposed some of the things this weekend had the prices not been so bad, because we probably would have used them for something else later on down the line.
Yeah,
anyways.
But instead it was like, no, we've got to do the building with what we have. We are. We need. Unfortunately, we still need some plywood, which has gone up like,
wow,
again in half. So
yeah,
we went from, it was a 2x4 was $2.59 this time last year, and then it's kind of gone up and then went back down to $5, and now we're back up to almost $8 a 2x4. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, price fluctuations.
Yes.
Always fun.
Good time to sell land and houses, bad time to buy. Exactly, Amy.
That's an excellent point.
It's one of those great to sell, but then there'll always be a correction eventually, but how long you can ride it out, I don't know.
Oh, you're kind of guessing. That's the worst part, right? It's all guessing, and right place, right time, and you come out ahead. Wrong place, wrong time, and you come out behind. But anyways, that's a whole nother thing. But seeds having pedigrees. Technically, anything you breed can have a pedigree, because all a pedigree is keeping records.
Yeah.
Back through, right? So a pedigreed seed, that just means they've kept records on whatever lineage, crosses, purity, doesn't matter.
Basically, they're saying we can almost guarantee you it's going to do this because its ancestors did it. We can trace it
back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people get that confused with registries, because registries are just like official places to keep those pedigrees, but the pedigree itself is just the paperwork.
Yeah. 2,051 pounds was Alaska's state record. Wow.
That's a pretty good pumpkin for Alaska.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a very good pumpkin for Alaska. I shouldn't say that like I'm surprised, but
well, but the growing, because you've got a shorter growing season. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in, Deborah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we missed you somewhere else when you came in, but I'm glad that you did come in. I'm getting behind again.
Growing. Yeah.
Yeah, $12, and that's American.
Holy cow.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I shouldn't whine about $8 Canadian, because that's only what, $6 American. But yeah, wow. Well, this is what we said. We had so many building projects planned for this year and things, and it's just like we're going to have to regroup, because we're not spending extra unless we absolutely need to. And unfortunately, we do have to buy some plywood to finish a few things, but otherwise we're salvaging.
Well, but this is just it, right? Like, wood is, for most of North America, like a primary building material that you need to keep these to do these projects. There are alternatives, but depending where you are. But yeah, it really does. Like, Yardning's got an excellent point. You plan to build a raised bed, then you see the price, and
it's wild, just wild. And that's where you kind of get the well, it's not a setback, but it sort of is, because you have a plan, and it's just like, well, either I have to, and I sort of feel it's not justified, the pricing. And I know I'm not going into a big in-depth rant about it, but I just feel it's not a justified price.
That's not good, though. But Sean won't necessarily may not get it built because of the
pricing. That's well, at that price, I don't know if it's easier to ship. I don't know if you can ship it in, like buy it. Like what? I'll give an example. When the border was open, we went across to the States and got stuff. And
not wood, not wood.
Not wood, but I'm just saying, I don't know if you can do it with wood. But weird living in a country short on trees. Yeah.
What is it? There's a Canadian song. I always think about it whenever I go driving for work in Northern Ontario, and it's like, what is it? Rocks and trees and trees and rocks and rocks. It basically just goes on and like that. And I don't know who I can't. It's a funny song.
It sounds like a Stompin' Tom
well,
song.
but if you've ever driven across like Ontario or Quebec's the same in a lot of places.
Yeah. It's trees.
It's trees and rocks and trees and trees and rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be glad you did. We've got a little stockpile, but it's starting to dwindle on the 2x4s. Yeah. So, well, we even actually put up a building, the whole frame stud walls.
That's something that we had moved.
Yeah, and we put it up last fall. The fall? Yeah. And now we're to the point where like maybe we'll just take it down and use the lumber for other things because we need the lumber and we're not using the building right now. So
yeah.
35K, all unharvested trees. Well, the nice thing is you can then harvest some of them too, right? So, I mean, we had somebody come around here and give us some price quotes on some trees, and you're just
not sure about those price quotes that they were talking about.
No, but
yeah, we've got well, some of our stuff you could use, but most of it's not big enough to actually make into lumber.
Well, the worst bit is the process to make it into the lumber. It's if you have a really good wood lot, it's worth having a, what do they call it?
A mill.
A mill, yeah, sawmill. But for we could harvest a few things and probably build some stuff. But maybe saying that, maybe you can get somebody to bring a mill.
You can,
like a rent.
We don't
rent a mill and a miller.
We don't really like. We have a lot of apple trees, but we don't really have.
Well, and then there's the big cherry trees.
Yeah, but most of them are probably hollow. You wouldn't get a lot out of them. Nice wood. You'd get some for like more decorative stuff, but not for building a.
Well, yeah.
Maybe you could technically, it wouldn't last, but I mean, if you really were in a pinch, we've got enough poplars. You could.
Yeah, you could use them
and use them as just beams. It's not going to last, but if it's there, you use it. But
or you do like what they did, where they used the whole tree.
Well, usually though, it's cedar or something that's going to last. But we're not to that point yet. We're not that desperate yet.
Yes, but in a pinch, we could do it. Yes.
Yeah.
B&U Acres also didn't feel the prices were justified, which is good.
Well, I think that's the case on a lot of things, but supply and demand, so to speak. But you can make demand anyways and justify it in a lot of different means. But we won't go down that road.
Yeah,
that's a dismal road. But yeah, definitely that is unfortunately a perfect storm for.
Well, and you look at, like you say, I mean, like the number of people that were doing projects and things like that was, crazy. And that, well, there's a lot of other things too, that when you go to the store, you're just like, how is that even, what was it? Oh, Tums.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, total digression from wood, but for months we had been looking for Tums in a store. And everywhere, sold out, no Tums. It's like, how can there be no Tums? Anyways, they finally got some back in stock. So we stocked up on Tums. Now there'll be a shortage because everybody will be stockpiling Tums because there weren't any.
That's pretty awesome. $3,000 worth for 300. Wow.
Yeah. That's sweet.
So yeah, a stockpile like that is worth it. Well, that's like prepping to the extreme, right? You're stockpiling like building materials and stuff, but it's like, well, we always joke about it being homesteaders. It's like, throw a lot out because you kind of never know when you might
Hi, Mackenzie.
Or when it's useful. Now, I mean, you wouldn't throw wood out or lumber out, but
well, and that's what we're finding here. We're just like, everything kind of is, you never know if it'll come in handy or you'll need it. So it's staying in piles places. But like you say about the being able to cover it, that's where it gets tricky, because then you got to store that stuff somewhere if you're going to keep it for any length of time. But
that's good to know.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things. Like we weren't desperate for it. It was just.
Well, we barely ever. It's like
it was an example of something that
we never
available.
use we barely ever use them, and then it was like, oh, maybe we should get some, and they weren't there, and it was just like we checked every time we went to a store, whether it was our local one or whatever.
That's
like,
the
no
classic.
Tums. How is there no Tums?
That's the classic reason for those who may be in here who also prep.
Yes.
Why you prep, so that you don't get in the situation
where you don't have
something not being available that you want or need.
Yeah.
But that's funny. There are no Tums because families work together all the time.
Yeah. Or people trying new recipes.
Well, yeah, that too, I suppose. Yeah. That's
there's
valid.
Probably some sort of whatever, like she's saying, like they're basically talcum, so maybe there's some sort of shortage somewhere, or I don't know. I didn't look on the pack to see where they were manufactured or anything. So, but
that's another good point. You can follow supply chains back, and sometimes there's a valid reason, and sometimes there's not a valid reason. But you end up usually having to dive off the deep end to try to figure that out if you want to go through that. And there's so many consumer products, like everything from lumber to.
Well, it's like the toilet paper. When toilet paper went on a shortage, it was what was that? It was $29 for a pack of 6 toilet rolls.
Even though it's just
and like you're totally not allowed to do that. Well,
you are.
I guess, but it's like
depends where you are.
You know. Anyway, I guess it's not an essential, but it sort of is.
That's still awesome to have that sitting there ready to be able to use.
Yeah. Yes.
But we've had that not with wood, but we've had that with other things where you just kind of luck out. And I think cattle panels I got, because here in Canada, or at least in Eastern Canada, Ontario, I'll quantify it right down to our locale. The 16-foot cattle panels and hog panels and that stuff, they're expensive.
Yeah, they're like $60.
Yeah, Canadian. And meanwhile, when you could drive across the border, they were like
24.
Yeah, big difference for something that should be free trade. And I'm not going into that, but I lucked out. And years ago, I bought quite a few of them when a business had gone out of sale, and it was kind of like at the time, it felt like, do we really want to keep spending on them? But in hindsight, it's like, yeah, that was a really good deal, and that's why we've used some for trellises and that sort of thing, just because we have them. Yeah. But would I go out and buy them brand new right now? Probably not.
No, I haven't even dared to look at what the price is on them.
It's probably gone up a lot from what it was.
Yeah, it's sort of crazy. Oh my god, I'm skipping ahead only because it caught my eye that we don't buy ketchup, so I didn't even notice. But you're saying there's a ketchup shortage.
Oh really? And you know what's funny about that? Because
maybe he's kidding. Because he's saying make sure you grow lots of tomatoes.
Oh. Oh no, like, I don't know, because we're bad for kind of getting in our little bubble and not really.
Yeah, because we don't. There's a lot of things we don't buy. We don't even walk down the aisles, so you don't notice what things are missing. But that would be kind of funny. But yes, definitely lots of tomatoes being grown. I think our plan is for about 120 plants.
Yeah, some of them will be kind of specialty ones too.
Yeah,
but yeah, that does sound like it would have been quite the property.
Yeah. Yeah. Best not to think about that.
Yep.
That's my motto. Just don't think about it.
Ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's in the past and didn't come to fruition is no worth of dwelling. No sense of dwelling on it.
Me and you acres will trade us cattle panels for plywood.
They're probably worth the same price now.
They probably are. And he's not kidding about the ketchup. He says it's real.
Really? Well, I was going to say something interesting about that in Canada, because we're big birders. And a few years ago, this is a bit of a story, but we went down to the Point Pelee area, which of course is like the southernmost part of Canada, and is a big migration place for birds. But because it's so far south, it's also a really good spot to grow things like tomatoes. They have tomato fields and onion fields, and
where the Heinz factory is.
It's not there anymore. Anyways, when we went down was when they sort of it was Heinz. They didn't have the processing factory anymore. And we went in the fall, and the number of tomatoes that were just left in the fields rotting because they didn't have anything. Like, when we're talking like millions of pounds of it.
Yeah, it was just and the smell. Oh my gosh, the smell.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
the wastage from that, and just because of That's the problem with scale and big decisions, right? But on a small scale, you can usually find a use for stuff no matter what. But when you start upscaling that, it gets more and more difficult.
Going to Mackenzie's there. Once you've made homemade ketchup, you won't go back. I actually have a video. I'm 99% sure that we did a video of our ketchup, and the recipe's in there, and it's amazing.
It's pretty simple.
And it's super easy. But once you do homemade ketchup.
We also do like a homemade barbecue type sauce, which is very similar to ketchup.
Yeah,
but it's a little
sweeter.
different.
It's got sweeter and a bit more other stuff. But yeah, homemade ketchup, there's nothing beats it.
Oh, that's funny. Can't argue with that. No, I'm laughing at the comment, not just to clarify.
Well, you know, we all have it. We all have things we look back on and go, geez, what were we thinking?
Hello, the overworked gardener. Sorry, I'm a little behind in the chat, but I'm catching up. And hello, Tina Ladybug.
I'll have to try making ketchup this year, Thor. Yes, you will?
Yep.
You do.
You'll like it.
Yeah, and now you do need, it takes to make one batch of ketchup is 12 pounds of tomatoes. And that makes, I'm going to draw a blank here. It makes 4 of the little 1 cup jars. But yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, this is us. We're the same way. You kind of get in that bubble where you just don't notice it. It's like us with the other thing is like meat prices. We don't buy it, so it doesn't. It doesn't really affect us.
We don't even, to be honest, we don't even walk down those aisles in the store.
But that being said, there's always something. It's like the Tums example, right? Where you can always get better at being prepared for it. But it's when you start getting more and more layers and more things that you don't have to be dependent on. It's nice, but there'll always be something.
Sorry, you're going too quickly.
Not on purpose. It keeps jumping ahead.
Well, I was just so Mackenzie wants to make barbecue sauce. Yeah, really good.
We like it.
Really good. I haven't done a video for a recipe for that, but there's quite a few really good ones on online. The one thing that I do like to do, and this would be my rant about canning quickly, is I take my tomatoes and put them in the freezer. I did do a video on this, but then that way when you take them out of the freezer and you let them defrost, all the extra liquid comes out of them first, and then you take the skins off and everything.
Thaw out.
What did I say?
Defrost,
thaw out, whatever.
I think it's anyway.
Same thing.
When they're no longer frozen.
It takes half the time to cook it because you've gotten rid of all the liquid already. Just as a little tip.
And it's thicker.
It goes so thick and so nice. It really works a lot better. So
the nice part about the ketchup too is because it's something you can do in the water bath can. You don't have to. You don't have to pressure can it.
It's not pressure can. So.
It's quite anything tomato related is so accessible when you're starting.
Yeah, because we make tomato juice and we make all the pasta sauces, and tomato is our main crop. Realistically,
it's a big one.
It's a big crop for us. Yes, CJM, thank you. Don't forget to hit thumbs up, everybody. Yay! Hi, Tina Ladybug. Did you already say hi?
I did, but
sorry. I'm saying hi again.
It's good. It is. That is definitely something when you can get. I'm the terrible one for when we do go shopping. It's like what was the one? Olive oil was on sale.
Yes,
for not an amazing price, but it was a decent price.
A liter for $3.88.
And I think you said you wanted like 4 of them, and I bought 8. I'm like, well, because I know
you never know.
It doesn't go on all that often, and it has a good shelf life. Like you're not going to keep it for years and years and years and years necessarily, but you keep it cool, you keep it. Whatever.
Well, we do
definitely going to get a year out of
with
it.
Olive oils and stuff.
So I'm the notorious one for grabbing the extra. But it's a good thing to get in the habit of because, like I say, this is my opinion. Striving for the goal of being completely self-sufficient and off-grid is amazing. If for the few people who can do it, that's honestly amazing that they've done it. Most of us can't for a variety of reasons, but everything you do just makes you that little bit less dependent. And that's where it's nice because then you can kind of focus your efforts on those things that you can't do yourself.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
For what it counts. Yeah. No, it's good. And it's not that, no, I would say it is better. I was going to say that like the making some of the stuff yourself I don't know. There's just some satisfaction in it.
Well, there's satisfaction, and oftentimes it does taste better. Plus, you can make things. Yeah.
Well, and then there's the other thing too. Like for us with the ketchup, we wanted to cut out some of the sugar and things like that. So
you can play with the recipes a little bit, which is kind of nice. But yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Indiana, for posting that. Sorry.
Making the ketchup is a good idea, and I don't think tomatoes would be one of those things. I think you probably can't have enough if you like tomato sauces and ketchups and all of the things you can make with them.
Yeah,
they're great.
Well, we do. We do about 120 plants usually, or at least we start that many. They don't always all do great out in the garden. I mean, last year we had 15 of our plants were the Black Prince, and they produced nothing.
Wow, but they're a specialty one too. They're not really a main crop, and that's the thing too, right? You get into varieties and types of vegetables that you want as main crop, like they're really going to fill your pantry and freezer, and then you have the ones they're still worth growing that are kind of more the specialties, or you get to enjoy them during the growing season, right? And they're different.
You like their taste or something on the salad.
It's like for us, the Scotia tomatoes are a big time main crop tomato because they produce a lot and they produce well.
They are the one. If I had to choose only one tomato to grow, if I could only grow one, it would be Scotia tomatoes.
Drops has an excellent point. You're always trying to have that 1 to 2 year supply.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is too, and I'm getting
rotating
the chat
everything.
again, but you're constantly rotating out your storage or your preps or whatever you want to call it. And you might find one year you do really, really well on tomatoes and you do a whole lot of tomato stuff that you won't use for 2 years. And another year you do less well on the tomatoes. Like you always have that balance.
Well, I do that. Well, and I'm that way with pickle products because cucumbers is like I always end up putting in more than I need, and I grow a whole bunch and I do a whole bunch of stuff, and then we don't eat it. So the next year I don't grow as many cucumbers because I don't need them. But definitely we keep a lot stocked. And the other thing that, going back to that comment about the 1 to 2 year supply, is also seeds.
Yeah, seeds are the same.
Hanging on to the seeds so that you've got next year's seeds, because that for us is the important thing, because we grow all our own food. So if we don't have the seeds, we can't do that.
Well, that's where it's really nice on the main crop stuff, especially when you get things that you like. It's like us talking about Scotia tomatoes. When you get those main crops that you really, really like, it's nice to keep it going because then you're never without it, essentially.
I'm gonna, after you're done this, I'm gonna go back to Drops one. So
which one?
The one above the hot sauce.
And ketchup?
Last year, we started doing fermenting. First time doing fermenting. I fermented a bunch of hot peppers, and I was so worried that they weren't going to keep that I then made them into hot sauce. Amazing hot sauce. Amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
Amazing hot sauce. Just as a little, for anybody who tries the fermenting stuff. Really, really, I just let them ferment, and then I pureed them up and put them into a jar. So good.
I'm a little behind. Oh, yeah. I'm caught up.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody.
So Thorhaven does the freezing them as well. Butter chicken, yes. I do want to do butter. I do a really yummy. I'm gonna say it completely wrong. I know this, but it's jalfrezi curry sauce.
It's a good one too.
Because you mentioned the butter chicken sauce, and the jalfrezi is really, really good as well. That's another one that we do with tomatoes too.
Well, that's where they just end up being so versatile on so many different things. And don't get me wrong, we still enjoy what you grow that summer, or to just eat it as you grow too. But yeah.
4 is good. 8 is better.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
especially when you've got the spot to put it.
Yeah.
But
there's a cat again coming.
Definitely,
we are the cat household.
It is definitely getting to that point that everything's starting to get very busy, and that's possibly an understatement because it's gonna speed up here. But tomato soup's a good one too. I really like, actually, you do your tomato juice makes an awesome tomato soup.
You like that.
So it's a dual one, right? Because you can it as tomato.
Yeah, it's called spunky, isn't it? Spunky tomato juice.
I think
recipe.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really good, and it's nice because you can just add some pasta to it or rice. We often put like ground meat and rice in it, and it's really quite tasty. What was her? Sorry. I need my thingy so that you can. Sorry, I've one tomato that's a determinate
paste tomato. Yeah, well, and that's just it, right? Like we talk about the varieties that we like and why we like them, but that's the nice part was when it comes to vegetables, you
Mhm.
can get you can pick the things that you really like
Yeah.
and why.
I'm excited because this year we got the San Maranzo. Isn't it Sam
Yep.
or San Marzano?
San
Something.
Marzano.
We're trying that one for our paste. We've always done Romas, and I'm trying the
Yeah, we had an unnamed type of Roma.
Yeah.
They did well, but we got some of the San Marzano from your friend.
Yeah, and really liked them.
They were
So
good.
so we are trying that for the first time, growing them to see how they do. But yes, they could end up replacing, or we'd never grow just one. But if I had to choose one,
yeah, exactly. Come on, every step is one step closer to the right
Oh,
direction.
Yeah.
You know, if all you do is grow one tomato plant, that's still one step closer. I'm picking on tomatoes tonight, but that's still one step closer because that's a little bit of food that you didn't have to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
You can obviously go crazy with it.
Dehydrate your tomatoes.
That makes sense. We've
never tried.
Really dehydrated too many, but we should try it.
I did do the little. I did slice up our cherry tomatoes and do like the. Well, they weren't really sun dried because they were dried in the dehydrator, but I called them sun dried. They were really good on my pizzas and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I've not done that with the chucking it into other stuff.
We should do it because it's kind of that diversifying the ways you store things, right?
Yeah,
canning's great. Pressure canning's or like normal canning. Water bath canning's great. Pressure canning's good. There's nothing wrong with freezing either. It's a great way to store things. But I mean, if you can dehydrate and diversify.
And we watched Living Traditions video the other day on freeze drying their cheese curds and got an eye opener when we looked into the price of a freeze dryer. So we will not be doing that.
Not anytime soon. But,
but we did. We went, oh, maybe we should get a freeze dryer, and then we went, maybe not.
Yeah. But, really, depending on the type of seeds, 24 pounds doesn't sound unreasonable because, for example, when you get into cat my leg, ow, when you get into like dry beans and stuff, they start to add up quite quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
Yes, we need to have a discussion with Drops and find out what he's got in his box and what's in ours, because then that way, if crisis comes, we know who to trade with.
Yeah, I would like to get elderberries going too.
Oh yes,
but, that's probably not going to happen this year, but that's okay. There's next year. Next year.
Indiana just bought 2 elderberry plants.
Oh, that's awesome. The nice part of it is once you get them going, you can clone them.
And,
make those 2 into more, which is really good.
Small plants compared. What's Oh, San Maranzo. Yes. Okay. Yeah, small. That's what I wondered too, because like my Romas, they're this indeterminate thing that just becomes a mob, and every year it's a rush to use them at the end of the season. So
that's the fun part though about gardening. Well, anything homestead related really is you can always have these plans to, it is always exciting. Mm-hmm. Basically.
Oh yeah,
there's always that feeling of excitement where it's like, oh, we're gonna try this, or we're gonna try this kind of whatever, we're gonna expand this, or there's always something going on, which is awesome.
That's just it, and you also figure out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah,
and expand on what does. Like we're discovering we're not doing so good on our strawberries.
Well,
but
not the way we've been doing it, anyways.
The beefsteak tomato. That's one that I've never grown before.
No, we actually haven't.
Not a beefsteak, but then they're like a nice big slicer, right? Which then I find I end up going back to the Scotia one.
It's just what works.
Just because that's what we have, yeah.
Yeah, but pruning the apple trees. I mean, it'd be too late now because they'd be starting to have the sap come up and that. But it's not. It doesn't have to be too intimidating. You can't really mess it up too much.
Yeah.
Your
theory is always you cut the ones that the right time of year. You cut the ones going up.
Yeah, because
if they cross.
Yeah, anywhere you're getting crosses and really, you got a bunch of branches that are really thick because you're cutting out a percentage to, open it up. So you've got like terrible whatever, but you're trying to open it up so that you get more airflow in there, which keeps the tree healthier and kind of rejuvenates it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's awesome.
Mini orchard, yes.
Oh, Amish paste. I actually grew Amish paste and really liked them. The one thing that I found it was weird about them was they were really low in acidity.
Acid.
So we actually had some cans go bad because they weren't acidic enough. But at the time, I was also growing black plum, which was like the exact opposite, super acidic. That's again, we really like the Scotia because they're kind of that in the middle. They're the black plum was so acidic. If you added it to the Amish paste, they balanced it out, and you got the acidic level up. But if you did it on its own, it was like you couldn't eat it.
So CJM also is
the San Marzano.
Fan of the San Marzano. Yeah. Marzano, whatever. I always say it wrong. But yeah, I'm very excited about them. That's the one thing I found. Very little seeds, which is a downfall from seed collection perspective. But I guess if you're growing that many, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter as much.
And like you say, so meaty inside. It was like, that's the one thing about the Romas I found is that they're almost hollow inside in comparison with what the San Marzano's are.
The Romas we have. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've never tried any. These are the same Romas that we've been saving seeds from for 10 years. So
we're not getting rid of them completely. We probably still grow them,
but just not as many. They're still really nice to have for like salsas and stuff. But
exactly. Which you kind of go down that rabbit hole. With,
$3,000 was. Yeah, that's on the low end. We were I guess that we were looking Canadian prices. So, but I mean, like the one that they had in the show. The medium-sized one with the leaves on the front for their logo, it was $4,950.
Yeah.
I'm like, you'd have to freeze dry a whole lot of stuff.
You could justify it, but you've got to think about it before taking the plunge for that for sure.
Yeah. But, anyways, that was something I'm like, not at this point in time, anyways. But
definitely, peppers are totally worth a lot of space. So that'll be good if you expand on it, and you can do a lot with them. We've been finding that too. We're starting to figure peppers out. So, and thank you about our cats.
We have a lot of them. The hot peppers. That's the one thing we need to kind of tweak a little bit because we're avid seed savers. We're pretty adamant about not having too many of different varieties. So we're trying to find the perfect one.
Depending on how difficult things are.
Yeah.
Like tomatoes are kind of one of those easy ones.
Well, they don't have to be very far apart.
Yeah, 3 meters. I don't know what the conversion to feet is on that, but 3 meters.
10 feet.
Yeah, about 10 feet. So between varieties, that's doable. You could do that. Even in a small space, you could actually have multiple kinds. Same with like dry beans or beans in general, and peas and stuff. A lot of those are easier plants to kind of plan out your ability to grow multiple kinds and still seed save. Then you get into it goes up from there in difficulty level, of course, but and feasibility. But,
yes,
it drops and have to throw them over the fence.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because it doesn't seem like it's a big deal to send seeds from the States here, but it seems to be quite a big deal for us to send them the other way because we've gotten seeds from Baker Seeds and from other people that have mailed us seeds. Just individual person sending you a couple packs and had no problem, but going the other way seems to be the issue.
But we're going to figure it out.
Yeah,
we didn't do it this year for the Canadian Seed Challenge and the seed swap portion of that, but we'll probably try to figure it out next year because it'd be nice.
I do love the typing on this one. My determinant is Martino's Roma tomato, and then I'm
growing the Amish paste.
Okay. Heritage and white Tomasol. That must be that's like a little tomato. I'm guessing.
No, it's indeterminate. So
no, but I meant like the tomato is little.
Maybe.
Tomasol makes me think it's a little one.
I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
There's so many tomatoes.
Yes, it is. And we will admit we get stuck in the groove of, well, this is working for us, so we don't try anything new. But
that's all right. We are actually going to be trying some new ones this year.
Yes, we are trying a few new ones.
We got some comfrey from my friend last year.
We haven't gone to check it yet. We kept saying we wanted to do a video of going to check all of our plants that we'd planted in the food forest, all our fruit trees and things like that. We haven't gotten around to doing it yet, but we haven't checked on our comfrey to see if it's still alive. It's like the fiddleheads.
I don't think it would be up just yet. Spring just got nice enough.
Yeah. Well, and the comfrey is supposed to be very good for rabbits too. We're always thinking about rabbit food as well.
We got the one we have is Russian Bocking 4, I believe. It's I'll double check. I wrote that down somewhere, but I'm pretty sure that's the one we got.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of nice.
Amazing for toasted tomato sandwich and mayo
Yep.
bake.
Yeah, we eat a
Anything
lot
with
of
bacon
those.
and butter. Anything could be on bacon and butter, and it's good.
We eat a lot of tomato sandwiches the right time of year.
When it's in, you're going so quickly. I can't read them that quickly.
Would you like to take control of the mouse?
I need my own computer. You can whip through it fast, and I'll go and catch up with everything else.
I'm a speed reader.
Oh my. Okay. Cut any branches lower than your height.
Yeah, that's
trim all branches less than the size of a dime. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
on an established tree, yeah.
And anything that's dead or looks diseased, because you'll often find when they get shaded out, there'll be dead branches. There'll be branches that are in various states of whatever. You want to get rid of those. And definitely try to make sure you take it away. You don't just leave it by around the base, because the more of them, if you're only doing a couple, the likelihood's probably pretty low, but the more of them you have, the more chances you get some sort of disease established. Just kind of the best practice, I guess. But
yes. Who's talking about the Thundercats?
Is that our cats?
Oh, are you talking about our cats being the Thundercats? I used to love Thundercats when I was a kid.
Good night, Thorhaven.
Yes, have a great night.
Yes, thank you for coming in.
Make the most of it. Thai peppers. That's one I'd have to look into. See, I think that's the thing. When you get something that's different, it would be kind of fun to try it. Like we don't do the jalapenos anymore. We do the black Hungarian. We prefer them. And
good night, Willowcroft.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in. Or Willow Covecroft, sorry.
You're short forming.
I'm short forming.
Yeah.
Speed reading. I'm missing words.
Yes. Yeah.
It's too funny.
That was some bad texting.
That's all right.
We kind of got the drift of it, so I make a conference easy arthritis pain. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I've heard there's a lot of.
What's the other one? Is it plantain or something that's used for?
It's supposed to do a bunch of different things.
Yeah, another one that does that. Hey, Chris Dixon.
Hello. Thanks for coming in.
How you doing tonight?
We actually they're pear tomatoes. They're not too. The one that we want to do for a seed challenge is
the yellow pear.
The yellow pear tomatoes, which are not quite the same as a grape tomato, but similar. But
we have we grow oh my gosh, I'm drawing up Gray's sweet cherry,
and they're really good. They're
amazing, and they're like the size of a dime. They're tiny, like pop in your mouth, and they are so sweet. I mean, they don't usually make it in off the vine because it's just like
Oh, the kids, we sent them out last year to pick a bunch,
and they ate them.
They literally ate as many as they picked, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing for them to eat that many.
Well, but it's not bad either. It's like nice to. It's like we send them out to pick the snap peas, and you don't get any snap peas.
They eat them all. So we've got to grow. We're growing Amish,
a lot more
Amish snap peas again. Oh, we've been growing them for a few years. And we bought more because we need a bigger patch.
Now that the kids are in there, we need a bigger patch for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the comfrey once we get it going. We planted it in amongst our Romeo and Valentine dwarf cherry bushes. So we'll see how it goes.
Which hopefully you're still alive.
It should do well where it. I've heard of these ones. The Atomic Grape, the Black Beauty tomatoes. I haven't heard of the third one actually, but. That's cool. That's the thing. There's so many different kinds.
Yeah. Well, that's where it's great to have this kind of feedback from people and stuff, like what they really like, because it's good. Have a good night, CJM.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming in.
Mackenzie's going through the Thundercats. What's the theme song again? Oh, Thundercats on the move.
I don't remember.
Thundercats, something like that. Hear the magic, hear the roar. Thundercats are. Anyway, she'll know what I'm talking about.
And you say you don't remember that stuff from when you were a kid. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And, actually, that's one thing. Before doing the YouTube thing, I've always tried to, not too persuasively, but talk to people that want to get into gardening. It's like, think about the saving seeds. Like, it's worth growing it, this, that, and whatever. But that Victory Garden. What do you call it? the image of the Victory Garden and all that it stands for really is like that's exactly what people need to do now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was a big push for people starting
not for
them,
exactly
but
the same reasons, but that's something that got forgotten for quite a few a few generations, and
indigo apple tomatoes.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. Are they
Sounds
actually
quite interesting.
purple? That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat.
Tiffany Q will send us some Thai seeds. Yes.
Well, that could be cool.
Yes.
Are they like a full size pepper, or are they more like a dwarf type pepper? Because peppers are one of those things we've got to figure out better the seed saving of it, because there's so many kinds and they're useful, but they're not as simple to keep sort of pure per se as the tomatoes are, which is kind of problematic when you want to have a lot of varieties.
Well, or you just got to put the effort into doing
we got to figure it out better, but
covering them,
plantain
is awesome. Yes,
that's actually something we don't have a lot here. We'll have to actually import it.
There he is. Because I was picking it all year for the bunnies out back.
This here, yes. The old place we used to.
At the back.
Okay,
it's in all the burr bushes. There's burr bushes and plantain at the back.
I have to check this out. I don't remember it from last year. I was picking
it for the bunnies. Hopefully I didn't kill it.
Nah, it'll come back. It's pretty prolific.
Yes, but that's another one like the comfrey that I've heard has got lots of good
stuff in it.
Healing
it's supposed to be good for allergies too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because it's good for plantain tea.
That's what I should do.
Yeah. I do need to get a good book. This is one we actually just ordered we follow Pinball Preparedness, and he recommended the book. What was it called again?
Garden Tonics.
Yeah. I don't. Anyways,
it's not here yet, but
we'll talk about it when it comes. But anyways, we ordered it, but it's all about natural tonics for your garden, for helping with fertilizing and getting rid of pests and that sort of thing. I need to find a good one for like home natural remedies. Like, because that's the thing, we always reference the internet. You always go to the Google to find out things. But what if for some reason we didn't have Google? I want to have a good book, and there's so many out there. I mean, if anybody has a good book that they would recommend for like natural home remedies, let me know. Send me an email or whatever. Because
you mean both for humans and gardens and stuff, right?
Well, no, either way, but I'm after one that's for, like the plantain, and like she was saying about the comfrey for arthritis, things like that. Those are things that there must be a natural remedies book that someone loves. So
Sweet Million, what is that? Out of complete curiosity, because I don't. Is it a tomato? I'll have to wait for it to come up, but I'm getting back in the chat.
Oh, another one says Sweet Millions.
Okay, so they say and Tiffany says they stay small. Okay, that's cool. That's
good. Yeah, because then because we grow these ones called Aurora peppers, and we're kind of on the fence with them. So, but
I don't want to get rid of them, but
yeah.
That's one thing. When we cooked the goose eggs, they were actually really good. But we used to have ducks, and I kind of miss that for the baking side.
Yeah,
of things. But it's kind of I don't know, another thing to add just for the eggs. We'll see.
Natural home remedies. Plant magic and natural home remedies. Give me your paper.
There's
a pen. We didn't bring the book today. That's okay. I'll just write it on that thing and I'll transfer it. So, okay, plant magic.
I did know that about violet flowers. There's got to be ways to. Could you dry them to keep for later? I'm sure you could for violets.
Now that's something I've not seen on this property.
No, there might be at the very back, but there's not that many. No.
Yeah.
Okay, Sweet Million is a tomato.
Okay.
Interesting.
Notes. Making notes.
Notes are good. Yes. See, there's always things to learn. The purple dead nettle is good for inflammation.
Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine.
Okay. And he's got the author too. That's good. Okay, so you can dry them or freeze them. Well, that's good to know. We'll have to scope that out and see if we have many. I know up near the house we don't, but we might at the back. of the property have some wild violet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, turmeric and ginger. Actually, I've got to get my. We did an experiment last year with growing turmeric and ginger because the year we moved had grown it. They really didn't get a fair chance, but they did okay as like the plant came up. We never harvested them, so we tried again last year, and the ginger did really well considering we're in Canada. So I'm hoping we can. I saved tubers, and most of them look like they've come through the winter pretty good. So I've got to get them started.
Have a good night, Remy. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, thank you very much. You were here from the beginning.
You were here early.
Yeah, you were here before we were.
Yes. The Way of Herbs by Michael Tierra.
Okay, that sounds like a good one. What was I going to say? But yeah, basically in our little experiment, the ginger did really well, was quite promising. And we think with the greenhouse, we can keep it going that little bit longer to make it do even better. But the turmeric didn't do very well. It grew a whole lot of long, sort of stringy roots, but it didn't actually form any tubers. So I've talked to a few people that it just may not be a long enough growing season for it. Yeah,
we're hoping this year, Tiffany, our ginger did really well last year considering we didn't have a greenhouse. So we're really hoping this year that it
does okay.
We might even get bigger tubers because we'll be able to extend the season just a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. Saying that, we could also bring it in and put it in the grow room now. So there's lots of options. So we're going to give it a shot. We did buy another pack of turmeric to try and start it, but we're kind of behind now. And yeah. Oh boy, look at all these books coming. I'm going to be getting onto Amazon. I'm excited. I always like to shop. Herbal recipes.
That's one thing with the turmeric. That's one of those spices that because spices are another one of those things, right? Because it's like black pepper, can't grow it here, so it's one of those things. It's nice to stockpile when you get the opportunity, and we do that with cumin. That's one that we stockpile because there's a lot of recipes we like that require it and the turmeric. Just because I don't know if we're going to be able to figure it out. The yucca root. I don't think we can. I think we're too cold for us to grow it here, but that would be an interesting one to try.
It definitely doesn't overwinter here.
I don't think we can. You might be able to put it in a pot, but I don't know if it would. Yeah. You got that one right?
Yes, I wrote that one down. Yes.
Book anything by Rosemary Clyde Starr.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Huh. I'll put a star by her. We'll have a look.
Yeah, that's. I should have said it that way, but I know we can't. We definitely can't grow it outside. But if you could keep it going now, doesn't both the black and the white, don't they get fairly large? I haven't really looked into it as much as I probably should to see if it's something even possibly feasible. But
I'd love to be able to grow pepper.
Yeah,
like that's something that's when you're going through. We say your preps, but when you're thinking about things that you need to, we're trying to figure out ways to produce most things that we would need. That's one that we hadn't figured out how to produce.
No. So the yucca would grow well inside? Because that would be an interesting one to try too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those things. There's all sorts of different experiments. We're going down this line. If we have to have things as houseplants or grow inside, they better be edible. Or useful, not necessarily edible, but useful in some way as opposed to just a houseplant.
Amy's walking to check out her herbal bookshelf.
That's actually something we've never really showed, but we do have a pretty decent library of various sort of homesteading books.
Yeah,
and it's kind of one of those things.
You've got a lot of plant books, but none of them were on. It's like the one that we ordered that was for the tonics for the garden.
Yeah, we don't have anything.
We don't have something like that. And the herbal remedy type stuff, we don't have anything on that. We've got lots of veterinarian books and lots of IDing plants and lots of how to look after animals and lots of cooking, but not the home stuff. And we got a few foraging books, but not a lot.
Well, but I've got a lot of information on some of the wildflower and wild plant ID books and stuff too. Cinnamon's another one that would be interesting, but
Indoors. And it's 8 feet tall.
Yeah,
Wow, yeah.
You'd have to be relatively
Oh,
specialized.
James would love that though, because he wanted. Oh no, it was vanilla. He wanted.
He wants
to grow.
the vanilla beans, which that's an orchid, so it can be done. But
yeah.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that'd be neat to try. But that's something we don't have is horseradish here. We had a patch, but we didn't bring it with us, so we'll have to get some more because it's not one of those things we use a lot of, but it is.
It's handy.
It's and especially with our sort of food forest, it's like if you've got it in there, then you want it for something, you can go and get it, kind of thing.
Oh, hibiscus tea! We have a rosebud hibiscus tea, very yummy.
Mm-hmm. That's something I want to look into a bit more too, because we were talking about this the other day.
The tea garden?
Well, the tea garden, but with the useful houseplants of either whether it's better to use, and I haven't done the research on this, so I'm about to say something that might be not doable, but if you can make hibiscus tea out of Rose of Sharon flowers, then it's kind of like, well, you could do your harvesting from something that you can grow outside, because we can actually grow that here. Or if we can't do it, like I say, I haven't looked into it yet because Rose of Sharon's not a common plant here, but it will grow here. If you can't do it, then keep a hibiscus bush or two in the house, at least in the winter. Would be worthwhile.
Yeah. An atrium room. Yeah, we need a atrium.
It would be nice.
There was somebody that posted. Was it the on the Ontario? Anyways, it was on a Facebook group or something. They posted this beautiful one that they had built off of their house, and it was 25 feet by I think 16, and it was peaked right in the middle, and they had huge, gorgeous fruit trees in it. It was so nice.
Oh, I think I have seen.
They had the lemon trees and all these. Yeah,
that would be nice.
And they were up in. I want to say they were in Quebec.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah, I mean, like that's zone 3, and they had these amazing trees growing in their atrium, which would be really neat. Okay, I wrote down the Susan weed as well. So, Amy, you're giving me lots of stuff to check out. I've got some good ones to look up.
I've seen pictures of that, basically like the house built in the greenhouse. That would be a really interesting idea. It'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, we've seen.
And there's a book for the kids. They'd probably like that, actually.
Kids' herb book.
They're. It's like we haven't posted yet, but we did the video this week or this weekend of harvesting daylily shoots. I don't remember the scientific name of it, but the ditch lily or the one that forms the big carpeting mats. But they had fun with that. Something you can just do a little bit of. You're not going to harvest a whole ton of them, but that's the nice part about some of these herbs and things where it's like the horseradish. You're not going to grow a field of horseradish, but to have it around, it's nice to have that variety.
Yeah.
Did you write this one down?
No, she's talking about a hotel.
Oh, okay.
It's got a
big atrium type thing set up. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. No, I think that's the greenhouse off the house. I think would be really a smart move. It'd be it'd be really nice to do, and you're just taking the heat from one thing and using it. But yeah, unfortunately for us, that means planning permission and all that other junk.
Well, yeah, just adds to it's not in the cards for us anytime in the near future.
I want to get into actually making essential oils. We've priced out and looked at. I always get it wrong. It's not a diffuser. It's for the essential distiller for the essential oils. The nice little looks like a chemistry lab. And because we started kind of growing a lot of different herbs and things that I would like to use for essential oils for soaps and things like that. So I did.
We just haven't got that far.
We just haven't. Yeah.
There's always that never-ending list of things.
Well, then we moved, and then it was just like So yes,
we're still in catch-up mode. The pun going back to the earlier conversation about ketchup. Oh, that's funny. Well, that's really cool that they sell that. I always wanted to try to get Meyer's lemon tree or two.
Yeah.
Because that's the one citrus for us that kind of would make sense. If only we could, as long as you could produce even a small number of lemons off of it, it would still be useful. Some of the other citrus would be pretty fun too. But and I've thought about the figs because what is it? Is it Detroit Hardy? I'm gonna mess that up. The Detroit Hardy fig. I'm probably saying the wrong name, but my one friend grows them, and he's in a bit warmer zone, but they got pretty good size when I was down the last time I went down to see him. So
we should look into that store though, because that would be the right citrus trees, right?
Yeah,
the one from Quebec. So. You should, if you think of what their name is, type it in there, or send us an email or something, because we are talking, especially now that we got the grow room, about doing the lemon tree, just to try.
Yeah, that's the Chicago Hardy. What did I say, Detroit?
Kids are taking the books and not putting them back.
It's getting late. My brain's starting to be scattered. But that's all right.
Wild Gourmet is a book, but no book that's super good. I love old books. Ask Chris. I've always got him on Amazon looking up like old books for me for birthday gifts, because they're always the good ones. And I'm always, and I like ones that have notes written in them. Well, so the nice thing about used books, sometimes they have notes.
Books are kind of one of those, I'm going to say it this way, they're like one of those prepping type things that it's knowledge, and knowledge is important and useful. And although books are heavy and cumbersome to carry around, having that physical thing in your hand, or being able to go to wherever it is in the house, in your library, is still very worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. Amy, you've given me quite a list. It's awesome.
So I actually had I had a couple of citrus trees that I had done that way, where I'd gotten them out of the just the citrus you buy in the store, and they did pretty good. The lemon tree was like about 5 feet high.
But you never got lemons.
It never even flowered. But then I was kind of reading, it depends on what variety those are as to how they'll. It's kind of like it sounds like it's very similar to apple trees, right? Where they don't come out exactly identical to the parent.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, Miles, how's it going? We were just talking about your fig trees a little bit.
And we talked about his comfrey earlier.
Yep. Yep. We've been talking about you, even though
your ears must have been ringing. Natural meals in minutes. Now that sounds like my kind of cup of tea. Natural meals in minutes.
Yeah, it's exactly drops. If you can't get on the internet, then you can't get that information.
Yeah. And that's my big thing is we've, as a world, we have become so, and as we're on YouTube and whatever, but we've become so internet dependent. I mean, it's one of those things like, I often joke, like, I'm going to go off the internet for a moment, but phone numbers. I used to know everybody's phone number because I had to remember it and type it out. Now, if you ask me my own phone number, I don't even know it. It's like, well, it's in my phone. I don't know. It's
programmed in.
And when you have that where you lose your phone or you lose whatever, you don't have any information. And that's a crazy thing.
Oh, it's just another one. It's another one of those things to keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like you say, sometimes the physical thing is worth its weight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because
i.e. a book.
Well, and it's a valuable
boxes of books
asset. If you ever were in a crisis situation, it's a very valuable asset.
Now you have it. You can go reference it.
So,
have you been busy planting and prepping already, Miles? I'm sure you have been because you're ahead of us.
Yeah.
Weather-wise.
You're a couple zones ahead, I think. Yeah, I will have fun with those, Amy. I am going to, tomorrow I'll be looking those up and seeing what I can find out.
Mm-hmm.
I may not get them all, but it could be a good birthday present list for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, adding to your library is always worthwhile.
Oh, yeah.
And you can sort of slowly do it over time, too, which is a nice part.
Yes.
And you accumulate boxes or stacks of books. I think we even talked about that, the amount of books we moved with us. It's like, why are we lugging
Some of them
around?
are still in boxes because we just don't have it set up to take them out and haven't had a need for them yet. But it is a case. It's like what Drops is saying there, but you've got all your biology stuff and all, which you never know when it's going to come in handy. So you don't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
we have a big reference library. We don't have a lot of.
I have to write that down too.
Oh,
there's the name. The name for the.
It's called. Okay, let me write
We'll
this
have to
down.
look that up.
Jardins.
Been cutting down trees. The chipping's awesome because then you'll have the wood chips to actually use for the gardens and stuff. That's one thing we keep toying with. We've talked about it in one recently, but toying with the idea of getting a chipper because we kind of slowly harvest stuff. It's either that or save it all up and rent one for a weekend kind of thing.
But then you got to move everything to a spot if you're saving
and
it up.
Store it till you.
What chipper do you have? Then we know if we should buy it. Oh, he's got wine caps. Chris is going to be so jealous. He wants to get wine caps. Oh, we were just talking about that the other day on Saturday, weren't we?
Yeah, we were actually. Something on the list to add to the farm.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm going to have to look at. So I better write that this is actually not a book. This is the plants, trees.
Yep. So he rented it. Which makes sense. It's just for us with having the bigger property. It's kind of like, if you had it here, you could use it, but then it's another machine that you got to maintain. That's the part that I don't really like. I'm not a machine person. I just, I'd rather not have them, but at the same time, they do make things easier. That's for sure.
Well, it's a toss-up because renting it, at least then you could send it back and you don't have to maintain it. But it's kind of one of those things. Then you're pressured to have to work really hard that time that you got. Like you're tired. You've been working hard and trying to get it all done because you got the rented chipper, and we don't operate well on that.
I think that's how homesteading works.
I know.
You're always tired because there's always something else, but it's worth it. It's always worth it.
Yes.
But that would be awesome. I would love to get some from you. That's going to be our starter mushroom, I think. But I'd like to get into more of them because I used to. This is kind of story time.
I really want to do the oyster ones.
I used to hate mushrooms, but I hated the little white, like the classic button mushrooms or whatever they're called. But when I started trying different mushrooms, I'm like, hey,
getting
some
clean
of
on
these
the
are
prairies.
actually pretty good. So now I'm a lot more open to it. I still don't like them all, but there's definitely a lot more that I like. So it'd be another one of those things that'd be kind of nice to get going.
Yeah.
One more thing you can produce.
That's awesome news, Tracy. Super excited.
Yay, that's awesome.
I think, didn't you say you'd done the Scotia tomatoes before? Did I remember that right? I want to say, but I could be wrong.
We apologize. It's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah. Well, no, with the seed challenge we had, I was thinking because somebody we'd sent the seeds to afterwards, it turned out that they had them. I can't remember who it was, but anyways, no, that's really good. We are hopefully going to start all our tomatoes this year. But we did 70. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to go look at this silly thing in there. Is it 72 totally sweet peppers?
Something like that. We did a lot.
We did a lot of them this year because last year we froze them. We just kind of cut them up and froze them like on a cookie sheet and just threw them in a bag so that we could just grab handfuls when we needed it for cooking, and was amazing. So we decided we were growing a lot of them this year because I want a couple bags in the freezer because we went through them so quick. Thanks for coming in, Amy.
Yes, thank you. We should probably do the same.
Yes, but it was great to get this list. I have it all scribbled and wrote down, but I can't understand it. So thank you so much for all those book suggestions.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yes. Mushrooms are great on steaks. You can cook them garlic. Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, I love mushrooms. I absolutely have always loved mushrooms. He hated mushrooms. But you don't mind like portobello mushrooms, like the really nice.
Well, there's quite a few I like.
And now you love the oyster ones, which that's what I'd like to get into growing is some of the oyster mushrooms.
But the wine caps are supposed to be good, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So the fact too that once you kind of get them going, like what Miles was saying, you can kind of keep that spawn propagating and whatnot. Plus, you get the added benefit of the them breaking stuff down. So it's kind of like, that's I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd like to start there and then kind of
try other stuff after. Yeah, see how we go. But She's never heard of them. Yeah, well, there you go.
Then
You'll love them.
You'll like them.
Yeah, they're my favorite tomato. I absolutely love them. They're great like a slicer on sandwiches, but they're great for juice, and I use them for all my canning. They're a little waterier, so if I am making pasta sauces or something like that, I use my little freezing method so that I can get rid of some of the excess juice out of them, but works really great. So we've
not done it with peppers, but we've definitely taken some stuff from the grocery store and grown it in the past.
Yeah,
it works well enough for sure. That's
chicks
awesome.
hatched today.
So 11 chicks. That's pretty awesome. We actually haven't got any chicks or chickens sitting just yet.
No, we did some hatching eggs, and yeah.
I think this weekend we're going to make sure everything's set up and ready to go.
We've got some that they're collecting their eggs. Like we've left them with their eggs to collect.
How many rabbits have you got already?
I had 3 litters of bunnies born on the weekend, and then I've got 2 more coming next week, and then I bred a couple more rabbits this week. And so
you had Easter bunnies too?
I did. Yes, we got 15 baby Easter bunnies, all different colors. Well, which is so weird, but
it happens because
it does. Yeah.
We've got the champagnes, but there is the blue dilute and the recessive brown occasionally pops up. So that's a whole nother discussion.
But he's right. Things are moving along. It's funny how it seems like it's taking forever. And then all of a sudden spring is here and it's go, go, go. Really? I mean, we were watching the sheep out in the pasture there, or the pen this morning, paddock, whatever, and commenting on how big some of them looked. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, we're going to have triplets. But realistically, we're only 2 to 3 weeks away from babies arriving.
They're close. Yeah, the one ewe we've got, when she gets towards the end of her term, she starts sitting with her. She sort of sits down like a person almost on her butt, and then has her front legs up just to be comfortable.
Just to be. She's huge, just huge.
Yeah, we're kind of hoping there isn't triplets.
No, because I don't want to be doing any bottle feeding. So. No. But anyways, that'll be cute lamb videos eventually. So, but yeah, it goes pretty quick. We've downsized the farm to very minimal, and now it's going to go whoosh into expansion again.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Well, it's too bad that the Italian peppers didn't come up for you, Chris. But that's great that the Scotia tomatoes did, and that they're out of control.
I think we titled a video, Scotia tomatoes are out of control. I love them. I do. I absolutely love them. They're always so much fruit on them. And yes, they get out of control. But the nice thing is, because they're determinate, it's out of control and then it's done.
Well, they're one of those ones because we don't bother usually taking the suckers off them, and it doesn't seem to affect anything, right? You just end up with which is different than like the indeterminate stuff where, they can become monsters. The Scotias they get bushy and they really fill out. But yeah, or at least they did last year. But accidentally bought some,
they just kind of hopped in there. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's been a long time since we've accidentally bought anything.
Yeah, we're kind of at that point right now where we have enough animals.
Yeah.
Not necessarily going to be that way forever, but until we get a few more things set up, we're going to float with what we've got and get that running well before we add anything new to the mix.
I was buying feed and heard chicks in the back room. It's like during chick days when you go to TSC and there's so many chicks and you're so tempted. Just like,
they're cute when they're little.
I know.
Who can't use 20 more of them? But
they just jump into your cart. Hey, Jan, how are you doing? We're chugging on a couple hours here, so we're probably going to be wrapping up shortly. But
we have
good to see you.
We have a tendency to talk a lot.
Oh,
what have we covered? We've covered everything from
ketchup shortages.
Yeah, and making ketchup and canning.
Good books for our prepping library.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a good night, Mackenzie. I'm a dumpster diver. Someone threw it.
So they fill it full. That's crazy. That's a lot of banana peppers to.
Why would they just put a bush in the garbage? Or I guess the town compost. Yeah. But hey, if it kept growing for you, that's great.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Or I think he means it's the peppers.
No, he got a full bush of banana peppers, and now it's growing in his place. Right? That's pretty cool.
But either way, it's cool. Good night, Mackenzie. Thank you very much for coming in.
Jen, hi and bye. Yeah. It's yeah, been a busy spring. It's getting going. I'm excited. I think it's
well, I think the biggest thing for me is the animal stuff I'm excited for because it's feeling like it's actually starting to work.
Touch wood, knock wood, yeah.
But the gardening side of it, like this is going to be before we move.
This will be our best gardening year yet.
Well, before we moved, we were almost set up, but then we moved, of course, and last year was a bit of a catch-up trying to get it all sorted out again. And this year, it actually feels like it's the beginning of April. We're actually somewhat ready. There's still a lot to do, but we're somewhat ready.
We're somewhat ready. We're more ready than we were last year.
Exactly.
Right?
Which means we can
we actually have stuff to go in the garden.
Yeah.
Already. That's pretty good. And we have stuff in the greenhouse already, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to finish sealing up the greenhouse.
Yeah, but we're very, very close.
It is very close, yeah.
There's not too much left.
So got lilies at the town compost.
Well, that works.
I don't think we have a town compost, do we?
No, here we don't, but then we're not really.
Yeah, I guess we're not really, yeah.
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 Yeah, this is something we're finding right now because the partridge chanticleers that we have, they're not necessarily the.
That's what's funny about all the Shed Wars weigh-ins right now. Everybody's eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs. I know they joke about the egg wars, but not too many
people have
goose eggs. Yeah.
We're not that we harvest a lot of them for eating, but a few.
We've got a few. But yeah. We actually, to be honest though, this time of year we stockpile the eggs because we know once we start letting the birds sit, because we let them all sit them themselves.
You kind of go through
we will, there'll be a while where we have very few chickens laying because they're all sitting. And then it takes a while for them, like sometimes it's 2 months before they start laying again after they hatch?
It depends on the chicken.
Each chicken's a little bit different, but yeah. So we stockpile. I think we have about 12 dozen eggs in the fridge downstairs now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good.
They keep for a long time.
Oh yeah, like we do the same process come October, November. We stockpile them because we know with the light and whatnot, we naturally let them stop laying in the winter time, and then they start up again come February. Mm-hmm. So,
but they last a long time.
Oh yeah,
when you do that.
Yeah,
you don't burn them out, which is kind of nice.
We saw your 5-pound egg weigh in there, Jan. That was pretty good. And getting rid of your debt, wasn't it? Way to cause debt for Team Woodcutter.
It's all right. I think between you and us alone, we compensated for all the. On that first week, we compensated for.
We got rid of the debt the first week, so
and
that's
then
good.
And then some, because wasn't it 30?
We were 41. Oh yeah, the debt was 30 pounds.
Behind,
and we were 41 pounds in our first week, and then Jan had her 5, and there was a couple other videos too. So we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
We didn't have as much this.
Not that it's what it, but
no,
it was fun.
It's fun to check or to see how it goes.
Yes. Baking with the goose eggs or duck eggs for sure. I used to love baking. Sorry, I'm going back to Tiffany's there, but used to love the duck eggs for baking.
That's why we might eventually get ducks again.
No, we're not getting ducks.
Might.
No, we're not getting ducks again. Oh my!
Not this year.
Yeah,
but
no. If the geese work, we're not doing ducks.
No, the geese.
Although we did say about the geese in the springtime, you could potentially
save a few
of the eggs, but they would be each goose egg is like the size of 3 or
2.5 to 3, depending on the
three. Yeah. So I mean, you'd really have to adjust your recipes, and it's all yolk. Like I don't know if you saw the video. Yeah, you did. You commented when you break it, it's like all yolk. It's huge. It's like, I'm not kidding. Like, that is the yolk. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry. I was on about the eggs.
9 dozen's pretty good. We haven't pickled eggs in a long time.
I don't like pickled
do.
eggs.
Well, I should get the recipe from my one friend. It's a really simple one, and it's actually, they're not bad. But
I wouldn't mind trying what's the other one that they use to store them? It's not acid.
Oh, just the brine?
Yeah.
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 Well, if you've got lots of them,
But
you can definitely do that.
I do find that as long as you got an extra fridge to store them all in, they do keep.
Well, I'm trying to think of how long we've kept them. Like, the thing of it is, as long as they don't dehydrate too fast, or if they're really, really dirty, you wouldn't want to keep them.
Yeah, and the one thing is not to wash them.
Yeah, if you're storing them.
If you're storing them for long term, don't wash them. You don't want to have moisture touch them.
When it comes to duck and geese eggs in particular, you definitely don't want to wash them until right when you go to use them, because you basically they have pores that are quite a bit bigger in the shell. So if you wash them, you take off the protective coat that keeps the bacteria out, and their shelf life is like nothing. That's actually part of why duck egg production's never really been commercialized, because they can't figure out a way to clean them to make them like sort of palatable to consumers and still have the shelf life. Mm-hmm. But are you talking about the garden guru thing?
I'm not sure if that's what you mean by Club Ontario.
If you are, we've kind of thought about it, because I know there was some talk about a Club Canada, but Canada's huge.
Yeah, there was some discussion on starting a Club Canada for the gardening guru. Is it Garden Gurus? Yes, Garden Gurus. But we just said that the Canada is so large, you can't get that small feel. Like you have to break it down into at least provinces.
The way they were talking about it, it still makes sense, because you're under that umbrella. But
yeah. I think I'll store the pickled eggs in the den. I can't do pickled eggs. I don't know what it is, but
we'll have to try the ones that.
Yes.
So Miles said I need to get ducks. For anybody who hasn't actually watched, I used to raise ducks since about 2008 to it was just last year.
Yeah, we got rid of them last year.
Yeah, or no, 2019.
Or before we moved. We got rid of them just before we moved.
So
he was a duck man.
Not new to raising ducks by any means. Yeah. But
even your email address was a duck name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like geese too, though. But they're still waterfowl.
There's nothing wrong with ducks. I know, wasn't it Drops that said he was going to get some ducks? There's nothing wrong with them. We did Khaki Campbell's and Cayuga ducks.
In the future, if I was to ever do ducks again, I'm gonna stop for a second. Good night, Miles. Thank you very much for coming in. I want to say that before you head off. But if I ever do ducks again, I definitely want to do a proper dual purpose. I really want the Welsh Harlequins, because a big thing for me about sustainability is having, especially on the bird front, having birds that can do everything themselves, like look after young and stuff. And the Khaki Campbells were not good at that. And we tried having the two breeds to use the Cayugas to sit the Khaki Campbells, and it got really complicated really fast, and wasn't working super well. So one breed would be far easier than two.
Yes.
That being said, we liked both breeds for the reasons that we had them. It's just, we don't really need a lot more meat, but the eggs would be nice.
Yes, from a cooking perspective, and they did make amazing quiche. Mm-hmm. So I will say that, yes. So put the tablespoon of water in the bowl, whip it, the yolk together. Make 3. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what we did with the quiche one anyways. We did we just, because we couldn't figure it out, we just made extra. We ended up with still extra egg left over, but they're definitely good for the duck eggs. To be honest, when we used them, we just used them straight the same way. If it called for 2 chicken eggs, we used 2 duck eggs. They were bigger.
The Khaki Campbells weren't as big. The Cayuga eggs were a bit bigger. But
the Khaki Campbells were a little bit bigger, but it didn't seem to matter to the recipe. But yeah.
So she was talking about the garden.
Okay, garden gurus. Yeah. So we've kind of said about if it starts up as like a Club Ontario, I think that would be very good. But
we were just talking to Jules actually last night about it.
Yeah.
We haven't really. We're bad because it's getting busy. We're finding it a little harder sometimes to keep up with everybody's
videos, and
as much as we're trying.
Everything that's happening
So we kind of just found out about it, or found out about what it was last night, and sort of some explanation on it. So haven't quite wrapped our brains around
Yeah,
it.
so we watched a couple videos just that they'd posted there about it and kind of did some looking. But I guess the website stuff's not up and running yet. So we had time to figure out stuff. But I think, I don't know if you know CJM Farm, he was in here earlier. I think he's been kind of not working with, but talking to MB Farm about starting up the Canada ones. So I mean, I'm hoping that they decide to break it down into smaller categories, but either way, it'll be fun.
I think it'll naturally will do that.
Yeah.
But
but I think it's a great idea, and definitely we are on board for participating in it. And that's what we'd said to Jules was.
I want to do some videos about this, because I this whole notion of dual purpose, because I find, and I know it's getting late. I'm tongue-tied. What I'm trying to say is, I think a lot of people put too much pressure on dual purpose breeds because they're like, oh, they're dual purpose, so they're going to be good for eggs and they're going to be good for meat. It's like, they are, but if you're coming into it with the expectation that they're going to lay like a leghorn and they're going to produce like a Cornish cross for meat, like, you aren't getting that. Doesn't exist. That's odds of nature fighting against one another. But the reality is, those dual purpose birds, when you kind of take a little bit of that pressure off of expectation, it's amazing what they actually do for you. And other animals are that way too. It's just, I find poultry are kind of that thing that a lot of people get into when they start homesteading or kind of make the jump from gardening or whatever. And it just seems after doing it for so long, there's this confusion out there that I think people they expect too much from them, and then they're disappointed. And it's like, but broodiness and decent egg laying ability and hardiness and all that other stuff, those are all important. They're not important if you're talking confinement raised leghorns that are just pumping out eggs. But yeah.
Thanks for coming, Chris. We'll see you next time.
Yes, I think it's 10:30. I think we're going to do the same, because I'm starting to get
tongue-tied.
So,
but I'm just going to touch on what Chrissy was saying here about the ducks. Whenever we've gone to feed the wild ducks, we take black oil sunflower seeds, same as what we fed the birds.
Yeah, basically.
Because you don't really want to give them bread. I mean, I guess a little bit's not the end of the world, but or cracked corn. Cracked corn is another thing that's good. Yeah,
it also depends what kind of bread you're feeding them. If it's enriched white, cheap enriched white bread, it may not be the best. It also depends if they're just coming to your yard. I'm going to say it this way: it probably doesn't matter as much as if you're going to the park to feed them, because the birds that are going to the park to eat, that maybe most of what they're eating is what people are giving them, versus the ones in your yard are doing okay on their own. They're only coming for they're not depending on your diet. Yeah, they're coming for the grass and other stuff. But so definitely everybody have a good night. We're I don't know, this is always awesome. Everybody,
we love having her live and getting to chat with everybody.
It's always
we really appreciate all of you guys and girls coming in and talking with us, because it's always great fun. And I always leave our thingies with like a huge list of stuff that I've got to go research and look up, and people to follow and videos to watch. So thanks so much for that, because I always find that really awesome.
See, we're always learning too. So I'm glad that some people feel that we're informative.
Yes. We add the black oil sunflower seed to our chickens' feed every day. We do they get 2 cups about roughly mixed in with all of their other feed.
I don't measure it out super well, but they get a percentage of it mixed in with their other mix, and they seem to be doing really well on it.
Yes. So on that note.
Yes, on that note, we hope everybody has a great rest of the evening.
Yes. Have a great night, everybody. It was a great talk, great chat, and we hope to see you all next week.
Yes.
And we'll try and keep up with everybody's videos in between now and then.
We'll do our best.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Good night.